It's been a year, so it's time for another one of these. This is where my family and friends run for the hills. And better yet, it's now in HD. Doesn't help the pictures though. Anyway, let's get started. P.S. I don't know what's in this one, so I'm going to be as surprised as you. Well, the first one I'm going to show you is the one of my cat Toby. I don't know if I've ever shown him before, probably have. And he's making himself very comfortable on the sofa on the day that I moved out of the flat and into this house. And next to him was, I think that's my first mobile phone, or my second, can't really remember. Unfortunately, only 2 months after that he passed away. Very hard to hold this book because it's that big. I'm noticing there's a lot of photos of my house when I moved in, back when it was tidy. Here we go, I'll show you a picture of a car I once had, before I had the Alpha. This is a Nissan Micra, and I bought it brand new. It was a nice little car, it was nippy, it was cheap to run, until I totaled it. Less said about that the better. Oh, and you notice it's in the carport because it was quite easy to put in there, it was tiny. Mind you, I managed to sleep in the back of it in Scotland. That's another story. Talking of Scotland, there are some photos here of when I went there in 2000 with my friend Martin. Can't really properly see him, but there's a picture here of my friend Martin with my Micra, and I believe that's the tent we were using. I don't remember that tent, but it doesn't look very comfortable. Yeah, we were staying at Loch Lomond at this point. Not a very fabulous place. We kind of moved on pretty quickly. I think that's the only time we used the tent. After that we started using bed and breakfasts. They were a lot better. Not seen many embarrassing pictures yet, but I'm going to show you this one. Me and mine decided to go up the cable cars to, well, basically halfway up Ben Nevis, and I managed to get this picture sticking it out of the top window. Now the reason I'm showing you this is because about 7 or 8 months afterwards I read in the news that one of these cable cars, maybe even the one we were in, fell off and hit the ground. Now luckily nobody was seriously injured, but after Martin found out, he told me never ever is he going to go up in them again. I was like, what? Why? Here's a pretty picture for you. This is of Island Doonan. It's a castle, and I have to say that the area stunk very bad of really rank seaweed, but this castle is famous for a reason. It was featured in the movie Highlander. Martin wanted to go see it, and I thought, why not? And I might be seeing it again this year. And after that we went to Drumnadrochit, where Loch Ness is. And as you can see in this picture, it's a beautiful view. But I have a story to tell about this place. Me and mine decided to go down to the water a bit further up from where we were staying in a bed and breakfast, and there was this great big boulder right outside of it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to climb up, get a picture. Yeah, as I was climbing up, I heard this my jeans right down the middle just split. Aye. Stop laughing. Moving on. Eventually on our travels we ended up in Edinburgh, and even though I'd been there as a child I didn't really remember it that much, but this was when I fell in love with that city. And here's a picture of Edinburgh Castle at the top, an absolute beautiful view. And to be honest, I was actually thinking about moving to that city at one point. Not anymore. Now it's Los Angeles, don't tell the Scottish. Okay, here's another little story for you. This picture here, we were in Edinburgh Castle and I was getting quite a number of photos, but this one in particular, I had to jump up onto a sort of like a little wall to get that proper view, that picture. As I jumped up, straight down the middle of my jeans again. A second pair. So when I'd finished in Edinburgh Castle, I had to go shopping for some new jeans. True story. A year later, I decided to go back to Scotland, but this time I went on my own. These pictures are of a river somewhere on the way. I can't exactly remember where it was, but I'm pretty certain it was after Inverness, because I was heading further north this time than I did with Martin. All the way to Sandwich Bay, in fact. And actually this is that story about sleeping in the back of the Micra. Guess it isn't for another video. I actually drove as much as I could and as far as I could through Scotland on my first day. I stopped off at Drumnadrochit so I could have a ride out on Loch Ness, and then I went through Inverness and up to the north of Scotland, and after about 16 hours of being on the road I just stopped, put the car on the side of the road somewhere, and I tried sleeping in the back of it. I say try, didn't quite make it. I ended up getting back up at about 4 o'clock in the morning. In fact, I've got a picture of that right here. As you can see, it's in the middle of nowhere, more or less. Turned out about a mile up the road there was a village, and I could have slept there instead. Not in a B&B, just there was like a, I don't know how to explain it because I don't have a picture. There were like houses all around, maybe about 8 of them. No fences or anything, there were just sheep wandering about. And sort of like in the middle of this patch of field in front of these houses was like a looked like an outhouse. It turned out to be just like a washroom. And I'm sort of guessing the grass around that area is sort of where you can camp. I don't know. The whole reason I went up to Scotland on my own to find this place, Sandwood Bay. You see that rock formation right at the end of the cliff? That was the reason I went there, just to see that. But there'll be more of that in the next one. So that's the end of my 4 photographic memories. Try saying that 5 times fast. Anyway, it's time for me to go. Thanks for watching and subscribing if you have. Until the next time, peace out. I was at work one day and somebody had a calendar up of all these landmarks or beautiful locations, and one of them was of Sandwood Bay with that rock formation next to the cliff. And I saw it had said Scotland on the calendar, so I thought, oh, where's this? Sandwood Bay. And eventually I found it right at the top end. You know, for example, you've got John O'Groats right over here. Sandwood Bay's over this side at the far end, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. It's so quiet and serene and beautiful. However, there's something else that happened at Sandwood Bay. It's where I got lost. See, when I went to go look at that cliff face, you had to climb up the mountain, the cliff, to get to it. But instead of going all the way back down to the beach to go back on the trail, I thought, I'll just cut over the mountain. No, couldn't find the trail for a good hour and a half. Obviously, eventually I found it, but I ain't doing that again.